In this video, you will learn how to solve a quadratic equation by factoring. The first thing you need to know is that solving means finding the x-intercepts or roots of that quadratic equation. So let's get started. Here is my first example, x squared plus 7x plus 10. So there are three steps we need to follow. The first step says, set the quadratic equal to 0. So I have to set this quadratic equation equal to 0. And the second step, we need to factor this left side. X squared plus 7x plus 10. This is a quadratic and you know how to factor this. If you don't know, you can watch my previous video. I'm just going to go over it quickly here. So as you know, I have to find two numbers, which their product is a times c. In this case, the product should be 10 and their sum should be 7. So sum should be 7. What are those two numbers? Those two numbers are 5 and 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 plus 2 is 7. So my factors are x plus 5 and x plus 2. Set it equal to 0. And the last step, we need to solve for x. And based on zero product rule, we know if product of two factors are 0, that means one or both of those factors are equal to 0. So I need to set each of these factors equal to 0 separately and solve for x. So if I set this one equal to 0, x plus 5 equal to 0, I get x equals, I subtract 5 from both sides, so I get x equals negative 5. And if I set x plus 2 equals 0, that gives me x equals negative 2. So these two are my solutions or my x-intercepts. All right. Okay, let's do another example. I have two more examples. Here is the second one. X squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 9. Again, we have to follow those three steps. So the first thing we need to do is to set this equation equal to 0. So if I want to do that, I have to subtract 9 from both sides. Or in other words, I can just say I'm moving this to the left side. So it becomes minus 9. So let me do that. X squared plus 4x minus 12 minus 9 equals 0. So I set the equation equal to 0. Let me simplify and write it in a quadratic standard form. X squared plus 4x minus 12 minus 9, that's minus 21 equals 0. Now I have the right format here. Step 1 is done. I have to do a step number 2, which is factoring. I have to factor this one, x squared plus 4x minus 21. Again, if I want to factor this, I'm looking for two numbers, which their product is minus 21 and their sum is 4. What are those two numbers? Those two numbers are 7 and 3. So basically 7 and minus 3. So minus 3 times 7 is minus 21. 7 plus minus 3, that's positive 4. And my factors are x plus 7 and x minus 3 equals 0. So I factored this. I got these two factors and I have equal sign on the right side. So now step number 3 is to solve for x. And how can I solve for x? I have to set each of these factors equal to 0. So x plus 7 equals 0. That gives me x equals negative 7. And x minus 3 equals 0. That gives me x equals 3. So these are my solutions or my x-intercepts. Last example. 2x squared plus 5x minus 12 equals 0. The equation is already set equal to 0. So now I have to factor it. I have a quadratic. I need to factor it. But in this case, the a value is not 1, it's 2. And I cannot factor it out. So how can I factor this quadratic? So again, I have a video on this and how to factor a quadratic equation if the a value is not 1 and you cannot factor it out. You can watch that video. I put the link here. You can watch it. I just going to explain it quickly here. So we said in this case, again, I'm looking for two numbers, which their product is 2 times 12, which is negative 24, and their sum is 5. What are those two numbers? Those numbers are, I believe, yeah, 8 and -3 works. Yeah, -3 times 8, that's -24, -3 and 8, that's +5. Yeah. And what I do next, this is a shortcut here. You can divide these two numbers by this a value. So divide both by 2, and 8 over 2 is just 4, or 4 over 1. And I can now simplify this further. And what are my factors here? My factors are 1x plus 4. So I don't need to write the 1, so just write x plus 4. That's one factor. And my next factor is 2 times x, so 2x minus 3. That's another factor. And set this equal to 0. And now what do? We set each of these factors equal to 0. So x plus 4 equals 0. Therefore, x equals -4. That's 1, 0, or 1 root. And 2x minus 3 equals 0. Therefore, 2x equals +3, and x equals 3 over 2. And these are your answers, or your solutions, or the roots of this equation. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks.